Have you ever wondered what a Toyota MR2 may have looked like in the year 2030? Well, wonder no longer. This is the Toyota FTSE, and a completely brilliant and utterly literal naming strategy that stands for Future Toyota Sports Electric, and it's supposed to demonstrate how we're going to engage with electric performance in the very near future. So, what do we know?
It's probably the spiritual successor to the MR2 and competition for an electric Porsche Cayman.
It's about the same size as something like a GR Supra, but with a very definite mid-engine feel to the proportions. And the thing is, while the GR Supra is a front-engine car, if you talk to me about a sporty, compact Toyota with an engine in the middle, I immediately think of the Mr. 2. Because I'm old. But while the MR2 stopped production in 2007, and this car is a lot more Blade Runner, if you look at a Mark 1 first generation MR2, there is a definite kind of vibe resemblance. This is just me, isn't it?
It's not traditionally pretty, but it certainly is interesting and detailed.
So it's a smallish car with short overhangs and quite a busy design. I do think if you were trying to describe this car to somebody over the telephone, it might sound like a bit of a mess, but now that I'm stood next to it, it just kind of works. It's got a kind of mini, angry LMP1 racer vibe to it. Now, Toyota does say that this car demonstrates advanced aerodynamics, but it doesn't go into too much detail. But this certainly looks like it's going to move air in some very interesting ways. First up, really big front air intakes. Now, usually an electric car wouldn't need these unless it was being hammered around a track, which Toyota says is eminently possible with the FTSE. The thing I like though is that now that I'm stood with the car, I'm picking up on loads of more detail. So you know these front vents that channel air to the batteries to keep them cool? Well, they also vent through the top just behind the headlight here. And then you can almost see the pathway that the air takes down the side of the car past these really groovy wing mirrors. And then it comes up to the rear wheel arch, and then it's been sort of chopped off in a flat plane, and it comes up into this shark fin of a rear light, which is a little bit of theatre because it goes all the way down there. And then that kind of typical GR rear spoiler and a big Venturi underneath. The one thing I did notice that I quite like though are these. So when the battery gets hot on track, they pop out for extra cooling.
It's got next-gen batteries. There's a lot going on with the FTSE, which gives some clues as to where Toyota is going with the whole electric vehicle idea. And it starts with the batteries. Toyota says there's a new generation of prismatic batteries on the way, and that it's cracked solid-state batteries in time for a release in 2027 or 28, which is big news. In the meantime, there'll be a more conventional upgrade on the way. The first will be a performance battery that'll offer twice the range of current batteries in things like Toyota's BZ4X for 20% less cost. Then there'll be a quality low-cost LFP battery for mid-range EVs, which will be 40% cheaper but only increase range by 20%. And then there'll be the high-performance battery for things like the FTSE that feature big outputs but be thinner and lighter than anything we've got at the moment, which makes it easier for sports cars to be nimble, which sounds good to us. It'll concentrate on lightweight.
So the FTSE would be made out of things like lightweight steel, carbon fibre reinforced plastic and aluminium. And it would also have stuff like a lightweight transmission and a lightweight air conditioning unit. Then, because the car's lighter, the brakes don't need to be as big. Everything can be scaled down and pared back, and the virtuous circle continues.
It's got some knee pads.
On the inside, everything seems to be quite pared back and stripped down, but there's a lot more functionality in here than you think. Obviously, it's got this small yoke, but then it's got two satellite screens either side, which act like tiny little iPads. So you can have some bits of driver functionality on this side, which you kind of operate with your little fingers or your next finger along, and this side is more kind of multimedia. And you can change the modes so that when you go into track mode, like that, you will have boost, brake pressure, traction control, all those kind of stuff on the other sides. The one thing you do notice though is that with this tiered dash, you've got a low scuttle and a low window line, so visibility stays high. And then down where your legs are in the leg space, it's got padded bolsters. So it's made of a kind of squishy 3D printed material that's easy to recycle and easy to make into different shapes. And they're to sort of brace your legs against when you're really going on for it on track. Oh, and you see that? I think that's a vent for the air conditioning so that I can blast cold air into my right armpit on track.
It might possibly have a manual transmission. And we're not talking about a manual paddle shift with fake gear ratios, but a proper manual box with a clutch pedal. And also fake gear ratios, presumably. There have also been hints about noise, and apparently the only thing then missing is the actual smell of gasoline and no smoking signs. You'll be able to drift it, or at least try.
Yes, the FT-SE is supposed to be a bit spicy. Even though it's a dual motor four-wheel drive car, Toyota says that it will have a definite rear-wheel drive bias because drifting is fun. Also, expect a 0 to 62 mile an hour time of in the region of 3 seconds and 155 mile an hour top speed.
It will evolve and grow the more you use it. The FT-SE isn't supposed to stay the same. Thanks to a new software system called Arene, it will change with constant over-the-air updates and customise itself according to what the driver does with it, becoming more bespoke over time. Toyota says that eventually will become a lifestyle partner, which sounds worryingly like you might have to employ a lawyer and split your assets if you ever sell it. It's not as science fiction as it looks.
Toyota has already mentioned target Nürburgring lap times as well as a possible release date for a GL branded electric sports car. It might not look exactly like this, but something is definitely coming.
The creators had some interesting inspiration. One of the design team leaders, Hideaki Leader, let us know a little bit about the FT-SE's influences.
I like nature, and the inspiration comes from the desert, which has the similar design surface as the rear part of the fender and the front part of the fenders. Yeah, like a dome types of, the shape made by the wind. And the car, of course, need to be friendly to the wind. It's necessary for sports car to have a good aerodynamics. I don't want to make something really fake. We don't have any engine for the front. That's why it's so different from the current petrol engine cars. So instead of exaggerating the front bonnet length, we could exaggerate fenders as a sports car. And also, we could achieve very, very low profile car. The height of the car is 1,220, so quite low as a sports car. Of course, it's going to be enjoyable for customer to drive something really, really in the low eye point and hip point. I could create an atmosphere which is ready to race, ready to sports ride. That's the goal from the beginning of the project.
So there we have it, 10 things about the Toyota FT-SE that give us a glimpse into Toyota's future. What do you think? Is this the next MR2? Can electric really live up to the hype? Let us know in the comments.